Ma'am, you said that when women are in power, they're able to speak better. But do you think there is a certain section of women who also fear these powers?
It is a fact that when women speak up, they're looking for a support mechanism just in case something goes wrong, just in case somebody comes and, does their own number, someone bullies them, someone trolls them. So you need to have a support structure, speaking up. Many women don't do it. Many women would choose peace over creating this kind of a controversy which will impact their lives. Not that the women want to do it, but they choose they have many intersectionalities that come into place. The family, their financial status, and where they come from, and having to fight the societal boundaries.
And ma'am, when we talk about women's safety, it's a never-ending topic, and the cases just keep coming up every single day, and it is really, really sad. So, what's your take on that? Do you think women are really safe in this country, especially at night?
Much before our freedoms, if we look at even our civilizational history, women have been equally powerful as men.
Correct. And ma'am, 50 is a very young age.
50, if you say so, but my aching bones and my aching knees and my shoulders and my neck don't agree with you. Yeah.
Ma'am, you look very young and very beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ma'am, you mentioned the word troll like a couple of times, but your take on it is very upfront, and you don't really care about what people are saying on Instagram. You say that it's just putting a smile on someone's face. So politics remembers everything. Screenshots don't forget, and women are rarely forgiven for evolving. Today's guest is someone who chose dignity over comfort, voice over silence, and purpose before approval. This conversation is not about power. This conversation is about the price one pays for speaking the truth. Welcome to Femme Forward. This is Priyanka Chaturvedi, unfiltered, unafraid, and unedited. Ma'am, first I would like to ask you if you can complete this thought for me. If I were a man for 24 hours.
I wouldn't want to be a man for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I'm happy being a woman, and I'm glad that God chose me to come as a woman in this country and to be able to raise the voice of many more women in this country.
Right.
To be a man, of course, I do not hold any grudges against men. Men are doing what they have to do, the responsibilities that they have to handle. But if I actually think of it, if I was to be a man, it all depends on the family you're brought into, and the kind of responsibility and the role that the family gives to you, without making you accountable for your behavior and your societal relationship with women, is something which I would hope that every family would be able to do. But that would not come in a role as a man. That comes as a role as a mother. As a mother, I'm very clear that my children, of course, they are equally brought up along with my husband. But however, as a woman, I feel that if we from the childhood onwards, like we condition our daughters, we've just condition our daughters that this is how you have to be,
Yeah.
this is what you need to do. Wish we would also condition our men on how to behave and our boys how to behave.
I think that is very important.
Yeah, so I'm happy being a woman. I'm happy that God sent me as a woman. I'm happy that I was born in India,
Yeah.
and I could raise the voice and issues that I feel like speaking about, or which I feel strongly about.
And ma'am, when we talk about women's safety, it's a never-ending topic, and the cases just keep coming up every single day, and it is really, really sad. So, what's your take on that? Do you think women are really safe in this country, especially at night?
No, there are challenges that every country faces. Not every country can say they're 100% safe for their women. But yes, India does have a problem because India, as part of South Asia, which is hugely patriarchal, we look at Japan. I don't know if you know what the representation of women in Japan is in political spaces. You look at a Pakistan, you look at a Bangladesh, you look at every, many of these countries here, there's problems we face. But yes, India particularly so, because as an Indian, we would want to see what we can do better for our women. And India began when we got our freedom, or forget the freedom, much before our freedoms. If we look at even our civilizational history, women have been equally powerful as men.
Correct.
Women have been equally important in how things work. Even if you look at a pantheon of gods and goddesses, they're prayed as equals. It's just that post-independence, again, post-independence, our forefathers saw an equal space for women. Many countries globally, women globally had to fight for their voting rights. Many women had to fight to get financial rights, financial freedoms. I was surprised when someone told me they couldn't open bank accounts. They could not own a credit card till they fought for it. While Indian women had all of that, but boundaries were created for them.
Yeah. Sort of a conditioning.
Sort of, not more conditioning. It is about sharing space, right? The more you push someone into a corner and the more you occupy their space, then they grow up to believe that that is the only little space that they belong to. That is the only thing that they have. Only when you start pushing those boundaries and asking for equal spaces is what matters. So yes, women's safety is a huge cause of concern, and because we come from a largely male-dominated spectrum, and a male-dominated system usually tells a man that he can do what he wants and get away with what he wants. That is why I said, as a mother, and in every home, if we show respect to our wives, if we show, men show respect to their women, men show respect to a child's mother, even if the mother is whatever, you could have problems with her, issues with her, but it can come out of respect, any disagreement with respect. Violence, children see a lot of violence against their mothers at home or around their families. So those are things which we will need to create awareness about, and teach our boys that this is an equal world, and you have to make space for women, and space for women is not just in terms of opportunities, but in terms of sense of respect and sense of owning those spaces. So that is one thing which is a huge challenge, but I'm hoping that the more we have these conversations, the more we will be able to make that change, that shift.
We've come along.
I always look at glass as half full. Yes, I cry a lot I talk a lot about this, simply because I need to build it coming from a space of creating awareness and saying that yes, when women have positions of power or have voices to speak, they will speak about these causes. But I live in this eternal hope that yes, we will see a more equal society.
Ma'am, you said that when women are in power, they're able to speak better and put these issues forward. But do you think there is a certain section of women who also fear these powers?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is something, they have to feel very strongly about it to be able to, and the support structure that they have. It is a fact that when women speak up, they're looking for a support mechanism, just in case something goes wrong, just in case somebody comes and, does their own number, someone bullies them, someone trolls them. So you need to have a support structure. A, you are mentally strong. B, you have a family which will say that, look, we are behind you. Those are things which matter in terms of, speaking up. Many women don't do it. Many women would choose peace over creating this kind of a controversy which will impact their lives. Not that the women want to do it, but they choose they have many intersectionalities that come into place. The family, their financial status, and where they come from, and having to fight the societal boundaries as well. So those are things which usually silence a woman. But now we are seeing a trend where women do speak up, and they speak up for their rights. Like I'm seeing in Uttarakhand how women are now protesting for Geeta Bhandari to get justice. They've been protesting outside the Chief Minister's house, and the protests have spread all across the state. You remember, I don't know how old you are, but you look very young. But when the Nirbhaya episode happened, the entire country was outraged about what happened. Bilkis Bano, when her rapists, the convicted rapists were let go, the whole country was up in arms. Now, for example, Baba Ram Rahim is out on parole again. So we are all strongly speaking up about it. So even a small collective voice, when it raises its voice, it does make an impact. We've seen that. Kuldeep Sengar का आप देख लीजिए हुआ. मैं मानती हूँ उनकी बेटी कभी नहीं मानेगी कि उनके फादर ने कुछ गलत किया है. And I will not say anything about that child because she has to face the consequences of something. But the courts have convicted him. The courts have convicted him, and that is the reality. And for him to get that conditional bail, it just goes against the entire systems that we fight. And it actually makes you believe, is it worth fighting that fight? Many times I have felt that. But I believe that if I go silent, I'm failing a lot of women who had to choose silence because they had no other option. So I think, yes, many women don't speak up, but many who do make the difference.
Yeah. I think the verdict on the Unnao rape case has given us all a new hope that justice will be served when we take a collective action.
I think it should be served irrespective of
Yes,
outrage.
yes, that's there.
Why should a woman be outraging every single time about this? And there's this entire new discussion that is happening. Oh, women have become so opportunistic, so ambitious that they're killing their husbands, they are doing this, alimony, this, that. Look at the percentage. Look at the volume before you start speaking and highlighting one such one off incidents. And you'll have a clearer picture. Women are still dying due to dowry deaths.
Yeah.
It's a grim reality, the grim truth about my country.
The Greater Noida case.
Not just the Greater Noida case, there was a case in south of India too recently, where the father gave just so much and that was still never enough.
Yeah.
So there are many such cases, there are many such instances. My only thing is, it's not just the Kuldeep Sengar case, it is not just the Bilkis Bano case. It is just that justice should be natural. Justice should not be coming after an outrage. A court will not need to look back on a decision taken. A court should take a decision because that's the moral right thing to do. And evidence shows this to you. So those are things which I feel that if we could fine tune, then it gives the women a lot of hope. So in terms of, let me also tell you one thing. Like I said, I look at the glass as half full. If you look at our laws give women equal rights, and wherever they fail, they make up. Except for marital rape, I think India has laws which cover women in totality. That is one sticking point that I have with India's justice system. However, the laws need to be implemented, and society needs to come around these laws. That yes, if you need to change your thought process about women. You need to, sexual violence, etc., is not a power game. It's not a power tool where men exert their power.
Recently, not recently actually, but the video is resurfacing again. The MLA from Congress said that agar ek ladki ka rape ho hi raha and if she is not able to defend herself, might as well lie down and enjoy.
Can I tell you the unfortunate part of that? Yes, this was a 2022 video which was terrible and everybody outraged about it. Everybody outraged, right? Even the BJP outraged, everybody, because he was in the Congress at that point in time. Today he's a member of parliament from the BJP.
Yeah.
Do you know that? This is what I say, and this is why I continue to speak up while being in politics. That some things have to go beyond your political boundaries. Especially as women. I know we are doing the more heavy lifting, but please understand, women before us crawled so that we can run. Maybe we should be able to run so that our future generations can participate in marathons and sprints, right? So this is my sentiment. I absolutely denounce across parties. I was in the Congress myself. I faced a similar issue myself. And I've done what I've done, right? So, irrespective of parties, every party has their bad eggs. How do you address those bad eggs? I want to tell you, now that you mentioned this, there's this case, after Nirbhaya happened, there was a law on sexual harassment. And POSH was what every company was asked to do.
Yeah.
So if as lawmakers, you have made something like that, should it apply to political parties also?
Yes.
Shouldn't women in political system have safe spaces?
Of course they
Just because they're not drawing any salary out of something, do not mean that they can be up for harassment. So none of the political parties have put that application, right, into its entire thing, systems. So many women come, they drop out, and then of course we had this entire history of television telling you something, films telling you that women have compromised, women have this, women have that, because they in their heads believe, and it outrages me that people who make these scripts or who write these scripts or who write such films, they believe that women can reach a particular position only because they have goddamn compromised, right? It triggers me a lot when I say this, and I think they should be more responsible about what they do. So women are not just fighting a bias which is inherent that, oh, if you're in political system, probably you've done something, probably someone's your big daddy here, and that is why you're progressing so much. I'm quite capable. I don't need a big daddy, right? So those are the things. So women are already hesitant. Then you're creating these boundaries and there's no POSH in place. So women drop out. They're like, it's taking us nowhere. There's no fixed structure. Taking us nowhere, they drop out. So there was a PIL recently in the Supreme Court. And it was a Chief Justice. I mean, he's now the former Chief Justice. It came under Justice Gavai. And he said, woman in politics is not a contractual obligation. It will end up opening up a whole Pandora's box. So they dismissed that public interest litigation. I thought to myself that as a woman who's a politician, I would look at if if political parties are failing us. If as political parties we've created a law for all the corporate houses to have. We don't want any Nirbhayas there. There could be Nirbhayas in political systems too. God forbid, never something like that. But there could be harassment cases too. And we look at the Supreme Court to do this to justice to us. And then you say, oh, it will open up a whole lot of Pandora's box. So women in political spaces don't deserve safe spaces.
Ma'am, I don't know if I should mention this here, but I recently interviewed Radhika Khera ji also.
She was a very dear friend of mine.
Yeah, and she also opened up about what happened with her in Congress.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So that was quite heartbreaking, and
yeah,
what you're saying is absolutely right.
Yeah, so this is my only point of view that if you are, you have chosen to be in politics. I gave up my corporate career to be in politics. It was out of choice. Many women make that choice. Women in rural areas who come to politics.
I also wish to be in politics someday.
No, everyone wants to be. Everyone should be. Everyone, if not in politics, should be actively engaged with the political world and the policy making space. And those who don't do it, it's a shame that we don't do it. We need to do it more often. We need to claim the space. However, when you make that choice, you're making that choice out of wanting to do something towards nation building. And that nation and that party and that platform should be able to give me the confidence, okay, do what you want, we are behind you.
Yeah.
Y'all start shutting doors on us. And that is tragic. And I will keep fighting this fight. And this is what I feel strongly about. That is why when you said, women choose not to speak up, women who do also suffer the trolling, but we continue to speak.
And that's very brave. And I
don't think it's brave. I think it is something we need to do. It is our responsibility. I don't call it bravery. Why should it be bravery? Expecting a normal society to behave well with its women, treat its women well. Baba Sahib Ambedkar ji always said this, if you want to change the society, learn to respect the women of the society.
Right.
So if our forefathers believed in that, they lived by that, our constitution shows that.
It's a fundamental.
Why are we failing them? So I don't call it an act of bravery, I call it as an act of commitment to my constitutional makers who made my constitution, who gave me the right, who gave me the equality, who gave me the freedom to be who I am, what I am, where I am, how I am. Then allow me to speak the way I want to.
Correct.
So it's not bravery, it's about being committed to that cause.
And ma'am, you recently filed a complaint to the IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw against AI's misuse, and especially in terms of sexualization of women.
Yes.
So do you think that AI is now the new threat to us?
Again, AI is supposed to be a mechanism, a tool to the human weaknesses that exist, to overcome that, to be a good tool for your research, to find solutions to problems. Unfortunately, being misused. And I'm glad that I picked that issue up, because I could see women, not just in India, globally suffering from this. But they didn't know who to... And I wrote about it because I personally felt that, I did that when even the Bully by Sully deals happened, where women from the minority community who were vocal, who were anti the government, anti-establishment, their photos were being used without consent. There was a bidding happening on them on platforms, which was absolutely problematic. And I raised it to the IT Minister, and Ashwini Vaishnaw ji was the minister even then. Unfortunately, Delhi police did not take it up. Thankfully, we happened to be in government in Maharashtra. We took it up on priority. And I thank the Chief Minister then, Uddhav Thackeray ji, who was prioritized this. And we got hold of these people who were just 23, 24-year-old engineering students who didn't understand the consequence of what they're doing.
I think screenshots is also, you don't realize it poses like a huge threat.
So what happens is now these people have they've asked to undress a woman, to make her whatever, wear a bikini or whatever, or lesser dresses. And that comes on the timeline. People have taken screenshots, like you're saying, people have downloaded that image. So by the time that account is taken down, that particular image would be all over the countryside, right? So that is the unfortunate reality. So when I wrote to him, I'm glad that they took it up immediately, because I'll tell you why. Things that a government can do should be done. For example, this was an AI tool which was being given these prompts. You should have a guardrail in such tools. With it responding to such problematic prompts, they do not respond, or they alert, or they tell them that, boss, if you're doing this, you could face the law of your nation. Would you still want to go ahead? But there's nothing. They hide it behind creativity, behind innovation, behind safe harbor. And that is when I'm glad that and India became the first country that held Grok accountable and said that we want an answer. Followed by France then, followed by Malaysia, then followed by other countries. So it gives me a sense of pride that I spoke up, and I spoke up, which triggered a reaction from other nations. So if, as opposition and as governments, we rise above our political differences on certain issues. I don't say you agree with me on everything, I will agree with you on everything. But certain issues, whether it's child abuse, whether it's women, whether it is, a harassment of any kind, any criminality, then if we have our laws implemented. So I'm glad I did that, and I'm happy that this is one of the things that I have taken up, whether it was bullying by millennials, whether it was this, whether it was the termination of pregnancy bill that had come, the amendments that had come, and said it would create a lot more hurdles for women to take that call. And even now we see women heading towards the courts for medical termination of pregnancy. So while we celebrated all of it, but in terms of applicability, they're finding it difficult. No medical board that they said the state constituted medical board should be able to give the clearance and the go ahead aren't more willing to take that responsibility. So this is what I mean. I mean, if you have a space, you have that position, and you understand what you're committed to. I'm committed to an idea of India which empowered every single citizen. And if I see any citizen's rights being, reduced by any chance or someone being a bully, then I'll speak up for the weaker one. So that is what I do.
And ma'am, as a parliamentarian, you brought up the issue of women's safety many times. So are you heard seriously? And who do you hold responsible that there is so much scare in us even today?
No, I think there are lots of factors that are responsible for it. The societies you come from, the family conditioning, then the societies you move around in, the schools. How impactful are schools in responding to problems that women face, girls face, the girl students face? Are they doing justice to you? Are they trying to hide anything that comes? Otherwise, their school will be labeled by fear. I think there was an episode in Jaipur recently, which was so unfortunate. There are incidents of bragging there. I think it just happened in Himachal. A girl, 19-year-old girl, lost her life. So I think that the homes that you come from, the societies you are in, the schools that you go to, the colleges that you go to, I think all of those will need to rewire themselves. There's another thing, it might be controversial for rural areas, but I always say that we need to have schools which are co-education. Boys and girls need to learn to share a space with respect and with boundaries. The minute you don't have that, there is always going to be a problem when they start engaging.
Because they wouldn't know how.
Because women will be too submissive to define boundaries. A man would be too, how they are, that, we know what we're doing. So if we have a co-educational principle, then it becomes easier for men as well as women for women especially to define their boundaries, or for men to start respecting those boundaries. That they go beyond that boundary, there are going to be consequences. It might sound like a controversial idea, but I've always believed that this all boys, all girls theory doesn't work. And it also gives rise to a lot of voyeurism, to something that they are not, used to. And suddenly they have this access to something, but they will not know how to define those boundaries. This is my sentiment. Controversial, could be trolled, but this is what I feel.
Ma'am, what about boarding schools? Do you think the same for the boarding schools as well?
Boarding schools, that they're taking the responsibility of children, and if it's a co-education, they need to create those boundaries themselves and ensure that those boundaries are well looked after, and there is a discipline that, because once you go to college, you have co-ed schools, right? Everyone has it. Everyone has it. Then why is it that we are reluctant about, XYZ spaces? Let's teach our children better. And let's not leave that responsibility that, oh, if they go to that school and they, whatever. So if schools also have to be very clear about it while setting boundaries, respecting those boundaries.
I really like your thought.
No, I don't know if, I mean, my female liking or whatever people, somebody else may say, oh, girls cannot step out. Pehले to step out करने में दिक्कत होती है. But now most of the girls in rural areas are also stepping out to study.
Yeah.
So let's make it that way and also condition them in such a certain way that they can say, they can make their boundaries, they can be very clear about their boundaries and not feel bad about defining their boundaries. Because many times women, even in marriages, hesitate to show those boundaries or to speak on those boundaries. Even if they're not, even if it's with their husband, it happens. So this is what my thought is. I mean, I keep thinking a lot about these issues, but this is how it is.
Right.
And ma'am, when we talk about these financial government schemes to support women entrepreneurs who are trying to build something of their own, do you think they're really empowering women?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've gone through data, by the way. And
Okay.
I remember when we had, for a very short duration, when we were in power in Maharashtra, there was this Mahila Vikas Mandal, which used to give these small loans to women. It used to come
Yeah.
from the state government. Can you imagine 99%, 99.7% of them returned those loans? Returned those loans in the sense they paid back.
Okay.
They created their businesses,
Right.
small businesses. So women are, their sense of responsibility is higher. So if you give them the means to be able to fund themselves and create something out of it, believe me, they will create something out of it. They will not let the money be lost in anything. So this was something which, if you look at data also, every time a woman is funded, the money is not wasted. The money is only grown. It grows.
It grows.
So that's very important. Unfortunately, in today's times, if you look at women-led businesses, whether it's startups, whether it's venture capitalists, if startup run by a woman, venture capitalists usually don't fund it. You look at it, it's in a single-digit funding that they get. Women who want to scale, they are very hesitant about scaling up. If they do, they don't get that support. So and there are several case studies I can show you where women have done exceedingly well. So even this, many people call it the bailout, the handout or whatever. That money also they use in a way that the money is not misused.
Okay, yes.
So I think I believe that women financially being supported to become independent is exceedingly important. Exceedingly important because women are now in India are stepping out, have ideas, want to implement, but they don't have resources. So if we give them, we handhold them there, they can create at least SMEs or micro businesses. I don't know if you noticed during COVID, a lot of women moved their businesses online, and
Yes, I
Instagram
know.
became a huge platform for them to be able to
Yeah.
sell their stuff. And I see so many thriving businesses now run by women who are running out of home. They were cooking, they were stitching, they were doing everything. Now they're into fashion, they're designing bags. So these are also good creative businesses. Even the puja samagri that you get,
Yes,
the
yes.
agarbattis, recycling waste and making something out of it, candles. It's such a huge market out there. These platforms have given you that opportunity. So I think tech can be for good, tech can be for empowerment, until unless it's misused. So it's how you look at tech. It's how you look at the finance that's coming your way. It's how you look at these government schemes. That is what I believe. But I definitely believe that we need to do more than what we're already doing.
Yeah, I think women can excel in every field.
Absolutely.
They can fit in any role. They just need to
Absolutely.
be given that push, I guess.
They don't even need the push, they need the opportunity.
The opportunity, yes. Okay, ma'am, so when you represent India globally, what do foreign policymakers ask which Indians don't really ask themselves?
I think we come from a very emotional space when we speak about our country, and of course we must. Patriotism, of course, has emotions involved, but patriotism also has some hard realities. Not every country is going to believe your story.
Of course.
Not every country is going to be your friend. Not every country looks at you from a strategic perspective. They are not looking at अरे तुम्हारा परिवार मेरा परिवार परिवार परिवार. That's not how geopolitics works. It's a hard, cold, real place. So when I go to another country, I go with this entire belief that I'm there to speak for my nation and put across those points. And if they're convinced, great. But what do I get out of them? What do I take back home? And what I take back home is that I have managed to build a narrative through what I'm saying about my country. So what do people say about my nation? Oh, they're bad on women representation. Women don't have a voice. Women don't have this. Women are not given important positions, and women are not given important. Yes, those are challenges I face internally. I may face internally, but my country has given me my voice.
America's never
So when I go to America and I tell them whether they have a president, woman president or no, it's irrespective. They may have representation which is higher number. But when I go to America, I just remind them of one fact. My constitution guaranteed me an equal citizen, an equal space, and equal voting rights. Your country's women had to fight for it.
Yeah.
Even for their financial independence. So let's begin from there. Yes, every country goes through their ups and downs, challenges. And we'll all fight those challenges. And there are so many commonalities. By the way, there's so many commonalities that women in the US who are in legislation, and women out here in legislation, they face. So whether it is trolling, whether it's, character assassination, everything, commonalities. Women conditioned to believe that you can't take the top job happens, even in the US. They still don't have anybody on that top job. And it's an unfortunate reality in India that after Indira Gandhi ji, there's been nobody on the top job. If you're talking about a 21st century, equal century for women, it's time. We had more women in positions of power. So anyway, these are everyday struggles that we have. But as a woman, I have a voice. When I go abroad, I speak as a patriot, but a very real patriot who is emotional in her heart, but is practical in her conversation with who she's having, which nation she's having. Because every nation looks at you from a perspective of extracting something. You'll also have to do the same.
In fact, I think India is the only country which is so rich culturally.
We are rich culturally, we are rich civilizationally, and we've been a nation which has always believed in peace.
Yeah.
We are a nation which never attacked anybody. We are a nation which gave birth to 4 more religions.
Yeah.
We are a nation which brought in people who were affected because of violence globally. We are a nation which has received everyone with open arms. We are a nation which has assimilated. Of course, every nation has its challenges, it has its cracks, it has its problems. But what I'm trying to say is the larger picture of what my nation is. And my nation, if I look at its basic civilizational values, is that of respecting one another. And not just respecting human lives, respecting every living being.
Yeah.
Why do you think we give them God status? We can pray to a tree. We can pray to a piece of rock. We can pray to everybody.
Yeah.
That's because it comes out of sense of respect. And that respect translates into what we do, how we live. So that is why peaceful nation comes by that virtue. Yeah. We've never gone into a war, but if war is something we must go into, then we shall go for it and we shall win and come. So that is what I look at how I see my nation.
And ma'am, you yourself are very religious.
Spiritual, yeah.
Spiritual. Do you think women are also judged for being too religious or being too indifferent to the religion?
No, I think, women should stop looking at other people for validation.
Yeah.
Anyone for validation. So I'm spiritual. I'm also a very modern woman. I also have very modern thoughts. I also step out of home when I feel like. I also probably go on a holiday all by myself. So my spirituality is something I strongly believe in. My religion is something I strongly believe in. But I'm not going to go rub it in your face. Hey, are you religious enough?
Yeah.
Hey, are you spiritual? अरे तुम्हें गायत्री मंत्र नहीं आता? तुम हनुमान चालीसा बोल सकती हो? क्या तुम्हें वंदे मातरम आता है? I don't judge people on the basis of that. I judge people on the basis of the sense of confidence that they bring to the table.
Yeah.
I think that is what is important. Women should stop looking at how is the other woman behaving, or is this the right thing to do? Everything that you think is right in your head is the right thing to do. As long as it's not criminal,
Yeah.
and as long as it doesn't cross some certain, lines which are problematic. That's all.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm deeply spiritual, and spirituality has given me a sense of being very real. And spirituality has also made me believe that everything is transitionary. And spirituality has also made me stay detached to things, to positions, to people, to everything, to even habits. That if something is creating a problem, just dump it. And my spirituality has also given me a sense of belief that you don't need to go seeking certificates about who you are from the world. If you have to improve, you have to improve yourself. If you have to self-motivate, I don't look for motivation across the world. Motivate yourself. If you have to retreat for some time. But what is important is that you are at peace. Only when you're at peace, you're genuinely happy. And when you're genuinely happy, you can be a very productive person.
Yeah. And your, I think, places of quiet are Juhu Beach and Lodi Garden, is it?
Yeah. I mean, I was born and brought up near the Juhu Beach, and every time I underwent some stress, so I got shouted, which was very rare. My mother and father, I don't remember in my growing up years doing anything to get shouted at. Never. So, but even then, when you're in college life and you're in school life, you do have moments of frustration,
Of course.
moments of sadness, moments of not believing in yourself at times, self-doubts. That is when I used to go to the beach, just keep listening to the waves for hours. I mean, I can still sit for hours all by myself, just listening to the waves and calming myself. And then coming back totally rejuvenated. And this deal is, handling the world is no big deal. So those are things which calm me down. Lodi Garden, yes, just seeing the beauty of the
so
structure and seeing people happy, running around and whatever, it gives you a sense of, sense of joy that every little thing can make you happy, every little thing can give you peace. But I think waves and sand and everything
they make you pause, I think, and live in the moment.
And I think pause is very important in everything you do. You can't just, just be so fast-paced in your life that you don't think of a pause. And even if you're writing a statement or a sentence, a long sentence, even if you put a pause sometime in between, it adds beauty to that statement, right? So I always believe that you should pause for a bit, rethink about your choices, what you're doing, reimagine what you're doing. I also, like I said, when it comes to detachment, it also comes to reskilling. That you're reskilling, you are not satisfied with what you have. There's so much more of the world you need to learn. There's so much more you can contribute to the world through various ways. If I've chosen a path, that's not the only path. There are various ways people are contributing. How do I become a part of that contribution system? Irrespective of the roles. What is important is contribution. So those are things which I think pause always helps you with.
Ma'am, I just wanted to know, were you always supported by your family when it came to your career?
More or less, yes, more or less. I'll tell you, I come from a family where my father and my parents, my mother and father came from a small town, Mathura, and there is a Samaj, Chaturvedi Samaj that we have. Traditionally, they don't step out to work.
Okay.
The ones coming from Mathura, women don't step out to work. And they usually get married, have children. If they can do some business from home, initially, I'm talking about my growing up years. Things have changed a lot now. My growing up years. So there was one point where I felt that I will not be able to just be at home person. I would need to be financially independent, which my father was very aghast about that. How could you even think of it? But it didn't come from a point of view, I don't want my to lean on to my father. It was just that I want to see where it takes me.
Yeah, of course.
I want to see how valued I am, right? It came from that perspective. So at that time, my father was a bit reluctant and he was like, nobody in my house, and I was a third child. Nobody in my house has worked, and what are you even saying? But it was my grandmother, I remember, my father's mother, and my own mother, who stood strongly and firmly and said, if she wants to, I think we should let her. And when it came from my dadi, then obviously my father couldn't do much. So that was point one. The point two was when I was entering the political system, where obviously not just my husband, but everybody, including my child, my daughter was just 2 years old at that time. But everyone, my friends and people around me, all like, why do you even want to do this? Why are you even exploring this space? I said again, to check if I'm valued in the society as a politician. And look where it's got me, right? So it's just that I just believe that some choices that you make should come out of a space of commitment, not from a space of I want something, I want to prove something.
Yeah.
I just want to know it for my curiosity, whether I'd be valued in that supply chain or no, in that systematic chain or no. That's what I think. That's where I began from, and that is where I am, and it still keeps my mind open to try more. Whether I will be valued in X place, Y place, Z place, and if I'll be an effective contributor. And when I start to do that, then I put my heart and soul into it to make a success of it, whatever little I can.
Ma'am, you must be so proud of yourself, and even your family must be so proud of you.
I don't know about the pride because, like I said, just like I don't speak out of a sense of bravery, I speak out of a sense of commitment. I don't know. I think I have many miles to go before I can feel a sense of pride, because I feel there's a lot more in me that I can contribute towards the nation, and this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning for me, and a sense of pride. I think it only comes out of a feeling that, oh look, I'm so cool, I'm so great. I think I'm just doing what I'm doing. I was meant to do. So I'm sure my family, they keep telling me, my daughter keeps telling me, my son keeps telling me, my husband keeps telling me, my parents tell me, my in-laws tell me, people who I meet tell me, but it hasn't seeped into me. It's just that I'm just happy doing what I'm doing.
That is so wonderful. And ma'am, what about that pilgrimage that you wish to take?
Pilgrimages, there are several pilgrimages I wish to take. And I continue to try and do those pilgrimages as much as I can. Like, for example, recently I've always wanted to visit the Golden Temple, and I got a chance to go to Jalandhar, and I made Golden Temple happen. I have done most of, I think, Devi Ke Darshan. I know there are 52 Shakti Peeths or more. I mean, I'll be trolled if I say this. There are several Shakti Peeths, but the main important ones I'm happy that I've managed to do. Then the Char Dham, the Char Yatras, the Tirth Yatras that are there, the ones which are considered important, except for one, I have done all three. I try to do, and I'm a big Shiv Bhakt as well as a Krishna Bhakt as well as a Ganpati Bhakt. I try to do as much as I can. But I do remember telling somebody that I want to do them before I turn 50, because post 50, if my bones and my knees give me trouble, that should not become an excuse for me to not complete my spiritual journey. But I also believe that while I do need to cover everything, but even if I don't, I have God in my heart at all points in time, my guide, yeah.
And ma'am, 50 is a very young age.
50, if you say so, but my aching bones and my aching knees and my shoulders and my neck don't agree with you. Yeah.
Ma'am, you look very young and very beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ma'am, you mentioned the word troll like a couple of times, but your take on it is very upfront, and you don't really care about what people are saying on Instagram. You say that it's just putting a smile on someone's face, so just be it.
Yeah, I have struggled with that, and initially it used to affect me a lot, then I realized that why should their anger, their trolling impact who I am or impact my peace of mind? And then I don't know where they're coming from and why they're coming. Maybe they have some frustrations at home. Maybe they have some challenges in terms of their workspace, and they feel better punching me or punching me online, literally, and saying things about me. I don't need to read them. But if they vented it out by, being the way they are, then good for them. If it's brought some peace in their lives, if it's brought them some money in their lives for trolling me, because I'm sure these are some paid gigs also when they go after you. These are people who come through bots and agencies and everything who are identified to troll you, and groups that happen. So these are all tribes that come at you at one go. And I know, I've realized that it's a 48-hour, 72-hour cycle before India is again taken into some other conversation.
Yeah.
So why should I be bothered for a 72-hour thing? I can always step back for those two days, 3 days. I don't need to start engaging with them. Many people tell me, oh, you should hit back, oh, you should tell them. I realized, why should I?
It's
Because
endless now.
it becomes endless, exactly. And it's a never-ending game, and it's a no-win game as well. Why should I put my considerable efforts, energy, time into trying to prove to somebody that what they're saying is not the truth about me? You be happy with your version of my truth. I know my truth. My family knows my truth. My parents know my truth. My children know my truth.
And they're all that matters.
And that is all that matters in
Yeah.
life. And that is, I've just become a lot more calmer. If you saw Priyanka Chaturvedi maybe 6 years down the line, I would have been a more agitated version of myself. And agitated to be able to, like, I have a point to prove. But then after some time you realize that no, you don't need to just go out there and prove anything. There's better things that should keep you occupied.
Yeah. No point wasting energy.
Yeah, I think it's a very young thing, young blood thing. Oh my God. Like I keep teaching my children that, the biggest thing that pulls us down is giving someone a power of reaction.
Yeah.
The minute you give them a power of reaction or react, that's when you start to lose.
It's a saying, that sometimes silence is the strongest thing that you can say.
You don't need silence. You just need contempt that boss,
Yeah.
I don't need to engage with you.
Yeah.
So sometimes also that, is it even worth it? The minute you give a reaction, the person knows that they've bothered you, they've got under your skin. Even if they've got under your skin, why should I react to you?
And
Who
now
are
your
you?
children have also become quite accustomed to it, and they sometimes tell you about what's going on.
Oh yeah, So someone once asked me that, how do you do this? How do your children get impacted? Yes, they do. Any child would.
Yeah.
When they see their mother being trolled day in,
course.
day out for her looks, for her voice, for her hand movements, for something she has said, something she's looking, sometimes she's tired, and sometimes she's made some factual error while speaking, making a point, or while sometimes just sounding stupid at times, right? It happens. You have your days. So for children to constantly see the comments on their mother all the time, or their friends, parents judging them for what you are, it does have an impact. But I told them exactly the same thing, that, this is part of the entire person that you are, the persona that you are. People will come and say something. And again, let's be honest, I don't come from a typical political background. I don't come with those support structures who will safeguard me. And so this is something which probably I come in the eye of the storm a lot more than many others do. For whatever reasons. Maybe because I'm outspoken, maybe I take a stance, maybe I speak my mind. So my children have got used to it now. But it's not a good thing for children to keep seeing this all the time. And I always tell people that at least for nothing else, if nothing else, just think, if what you're writing, would your own children want to read what you're writing?
Maintain some decency.
Maintain some decency. And I've had some excellent relations with people across the political spectrum. Excellent relations. And excellent relations while absolutely differing points of view. So it's possible. It's possible. So value relationships is something I do. But there are certain no-goes that I have. That is all. So my children have learned, and they've kind of, sometimes I make them read the comments also, so that they understand that this is like part and parcel of who she is.
Yeah.
So my son is, of course, now he's 22, and he's quite busy with his own life. But my daughter does, get, because she's in college right now, she does keep coming and telling me, oh, there's this viral meme of you doing the rounds, oh, there's this there was this ho thing that went quite viral, and we all enjoy it. I mean, I see it with her, I say, okay, it's made someone happy, it's gone viral, but Nami mein bhi to naam hi hota hai, so it's okay, beta. I tell her that, yeah.
There's only so much that you can.
Yeah, there's only so much you can react to, and there's so much you can feel bad to. And I don't feel bad. I mean, I feel bad, of course, about certain things, and people I hold close to me let me down. But beyond that, no.
Okay, ma'am, my next question. What do you think politics would look like if women got the chance to project the same kind of confidence as men? I don't know if you'll even agree with the question.
I again disagree with this question simply
Okay.
because confidence that men have. No, I said this mockingly when I said this, that or maybe they're conditioned to be responding like that, right? Yeah, I will do it. I'll get it done and everything,
Yeah.
right? But again, that doesn't come from out of confidence. I'm sorry, it comes from a sense of overconfidence. That I cannot be seen as someone who's not in control. It's a very male thing. Men might disagree with me, but it's a very male thing. Okay, what if I say no? No, I'll have to check and get back. Then probably they in their head think, oh, I'll be judged that I'm in this position and I'm unable to do it, or I'm saying I will get back. It happens. I mean, I don't hold this against them, but they come from a sense of like हाँ कर दूंगा types. So, but no, that's not the confidence I seek. I seek a confirmed sense of confidence of what I can deliver. And yes, women have a lot of self doubts all the time, so they find it difficult to gather that confidence to confirm something. They will check all pros, cons, everything in their head and then make a commitment. Men make a commitment from that confidence that they derive
But
from,
then
and
don't
then they look at
deliver.
the pros, cons, and everything.
Yeah.
Right? So, but women bring their own sense of confidence in their workspace, and men bring their own sense of confidence in their workspace. So, I would say that whatever I step into after having read my stuff, after knowing what I want to speak on, issues I want to speak on, and issues that are way beyond me. I don't even get into that. And there's some which bring me only a lot of grief, like Hindu Musalman karo,
it's never ending.
jatiyon ki rajniti karo. These are personally that drain me out, and that's one politics I try not to engage in, but I try to discuss more from an equal space point of view. That not from the religious, economic, whatever, but I will always speak for the underdog. That is very clear.
And ma'am, if you want to be a politician, what would you be? Any other, ideas that you had in your mind?
If I had to be a politician, I don't know. I mean, I am a politician. If any other politician I had to be.
No. Any other field of work?
Oh, any other field of work? I think there's so many. I mean, I would love to teach, but before teaching, I would want to be a writer. I've said this all the time, and it's a long pending thing that I've been wanting to do too, is to write a book.
Oh, wow.
I love writing. Writing calms me down. Writing gives me peace. I write a lot of columns.
You're also an avid reader?
Yeah, I read a lot. Because I was a very introvert person. I am an introvert person even now, as much as many people don't believe it, but I'm a more home person than I am an outdoor person.
Okay.
So I read a lot and I write quite a bit. But every time someone tells me, why don't you write? Recently somebody told me that you should write. Okay, so you have not achieved like the skies or whatever, and there's a lot more miles to go before you feel satisfied about where you reached. But at least that journey of someone who's coming from a non-political background to be where she is, to have reached the parliament, right? So even that gives a lot of story purpose to many women who are looking at these spaces. What are the challenges? But I always believe that when I write, it will be from a fun perspective. I don't want to weigh you down with my fight, my this, or my achievement, or my harassment, or my this. I want to write from a perspective which makes it engaging and makes you believe that it's not so tough. It's just that you have to be committed. It is tough, I know.
But
I have tried. My journey could be very different from yours. My region of work may be very different from yours. So my story cannot be the same as yours. But how do I make it an all-encompassing diary? So I want to write a fun book about being a mother. I got into politics after having 2 children. I'm not a part of student politics at all. Never thought I'll be a politician. Got into this space. So make it a more fun, light-hearted idea of where I started, where I am, and how it has been, the experiences, the anecdotes, and whatever. So, but I haven't got down to writing it. So yes, I want to be a writer. But before I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to be a travel writer because I wanted to travel across the world and write stories from every part of the world, because books always opened up my perspective about the world. So that is one. But there's so many things I want to do. Just so much. I want to teach. I want to engage with the youth. I want to start my own podcast.
That would be great.
Because that's like the most important thing that everyone's doing. That there's a world, like someone told me, there's one who's asking questions and there's one who's answering questions. The world is divided into two right now. So I want to be on the other side now, where I'm asking the question. I did do that briefly when I was anchoring Sunset TV.
Okay.
But I was anchoring. I was speaking to women MPs. But there's a lot I want to do. My journey doesn't stop here. I have achieved, but there's so much more left to explore and to achieve in this world. So that is what I think.
Wow, ma'am.
Yeah.
All the best to all your
Thank
new
you.
upcoming ventures.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
One value you would want your children to inherit?
One value, I think respect. Respect for all lives and empathy. Empathy is very lacking in our society today. Empathy is something that you don't need to agree with people, but you can empathize with them, their situation, their problems, whatever. That is, I see an erosion of that. So two things, and I think both my children, I'm often accused by my, family that the kids have taken on emotions which are totally like yours, both my boy and my daughter. But I believe it's good to have emotions, and emotions bring empathy.
Yes.
And empathy also brings a sense of respect. So respect could be, for everything. Respect for your perspective, respect for your journey, respect for who you are. So those two things, if my children have learned this, love will come naturally.
Yes.
So those are three basic things which I tell them. Ye teen cheezein hui, you can go conquer the world. Ambition and all that comes as part of it, as a part of that package. So that is what I think. If these are the three values which, and I think I've done a decent job with them.
Of course, I'm sure. And ma'am, if they were to ask you that, did you make India better? What do you hope to answer?
There's so much more I need to do to make India better. But my children definitely believe that I have picked up causes which perhaps have answered a lot of challenges. Like I said, whether it was the medical termination of pregnancy, whether it is about women's dignity on social media platforms, whether it is about tech for good, whether it is about speaking up for my nation on platforms which usually may not be very empathetic to your point of view. So I think my children believe that. But again, I say this is just about one part of who I am. And I'm sure, I never asked them, but I'm sure they think that I've
they do see
probably
the amazing things
my contribution in some way has contributed in making this country a better place.
Yeah.
I hope so.
At least we are all fans of you.
Oh, how
Honestly, I'm
sweet.
not
Thank
just
you.
saying
Thank
it.
you. I'm sorry I have a bad cold, but
And you
people
still-
shouldn't think I'm crying. but that's what I feel. I don't know what my children think, but I'm sure they're proud of their mother.
I'm sure too, ma'am. And thank you so much once
Thanks.
again. I hope we asked you good questions and they were not a repetition.
They were not repetition because I'm getting so fed up with repetitive. And I try and accept as many podcast requests as I can because like I said, the world is divided into two places. Either you're asking questions or you're answering those questions. I'd rather be on the answering side right now. But sooner or later, I'll be getting there where I'll be on your seat and asking the questions. So I try to accommodate as many, but when questions get repetitive, I take a pause and I'm like, boss, come back with new questions and ask me something better, more meaningful, then we'll probably be talking.
But thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you
I
so
know I
much.
was after your life, but you actually gave me a chance.
No, thank you so much for actually following up on this. Yeah. Thanks.
Ma'am, can you say one or two lines for us, for our platform Femme Forward?
I would like to, the two things I'd like to tell Femme Forward is firstly, you all are doing a phenomenal job by interviewing more women and women across the spectrum. I believe you've interviewed journalists, you've interviewed politicians, and I'm sure you'll have plenty of chances to interview more people. Femme Forward clearly is a commitment to having more women voices. So don't lose that sense of commitment. Don't lose that sense of purpose with which you all have begun. And engage with women from all spectrum. Give them a voice. Let your platform be the voice of their aspiration, their hopes, their dreams. Sometimes some sound very, they don't sound really very exciting, but giving them that platform to be able to speak and speak with that confidence is extremely important. So continue doing what you are doing,
so much,
and wish you all the very best. And I hope to see you all interviewing many more people. And I don't know if I've told you, when Kunal Kamra started out as a podcaster, I was amongst the first few people who went as a
Oh.
podcaster, and look where he is now.
Yeah.
I mean, there are, of course, the country is divided with whether it's good, bad, but he is known in every home. I'm hoping that is what happens with you.
Oh, thank you
that
so
when I
much,
look
ma'am.
back, I say, oh, look, I was interviewed by her, and I was part of Femme First. Femme Forward.
Forward, yes.
Sorry.
No worries, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
ma'am.
much.
Means a lot.
It was lovely having a conversation with
Lovely
you.
having a conversation. अगर आपको हमारा आज का एपिसोड अच्छा लगा हो, अगर हम आपकी लाइफ में कोई भी वैल्यू या कोई भी नई लर्निंग ला रहे हैं, देन प्लीज़ लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब. इससे हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म को बहुत मदद होगी एंड वी विल बी एबल टू ब्रिंग more interesting conversations to you. Thank you for supporting us.